Hello everyone. When we build prototypes with AI, we don't need to stop with static screens or standalone pages. We can take it further and build flows with actual user behavior, conditions, and complex logic. So today I will guide you through a couple of strategies how to create your flows. Let's start with a quick definition. So what is a user flow? Basically, it's a sequence of steps a user takes to complete a task. A flow can be linear, or it can include conditions and branches. If the user does this, then show him that. If the user selects that, then show him a different path. A simple example can be onboarding. A user clicks register, then we ask him a couple of questions. Then depending on his answer, we can show him follow-up questions, request more information, or guide him through the product. Here are a couple of best practices. First of all, don't overload your prompts. If you try to describe 20-step process with conditions in one go, AI will certainly go wrong. Instead, break them down in smaller pieces. 2 or 4 steps is ideal. Prompt, test, refine. Build step by step. Check what you do and then adjust. It's much faster than writing gigantic prompts and then fixing the mess later. And another one is stay flexible. Different situations call for different strategies. Sometimes you need to describe a flow in a plain language. Other times you provide diagrams or detailed designs, and you can mix and match different strategies. Choose your strategy depending on where you are in the process. Do you already have mockups? Do you already have your flow well thought through and designed, and you really want to stick to your specific vision? Or are you just starting with a problem, you are in the ideation phase, and you want to shape your experience while vibe coding? Or maybe you want to experiment with multiple options and you don't necessarily care about visual design as much as the logic. And if you have complex flows and you already thought of mind maps and flow diagrams, they can be also used. So choose your strategy depending on where you are in the process. Strategy number 1. The simplest way to create your flow is to describe it in plain human language. No visuals, no diagrams, just human language. So let's use an example here. Imagine I'm creating a hiking application for all sorts of outdoor events. I have this create event flow that I want to build today here with you. I will start with creating a frame for the event flow. You don't have to start with that, but I think it's a good idea to first explain AI how we want to show the flow. In our case, I want to show it in a full screen model. So that's what I'm going to tell in my prompt. The flow should open a full screen model when a user clicks create event in the navigation. All right, so we open it in a full screen model. Then we probably want to have multiple steps, and we would need to have a back button to be able to return back. So let's also add it into our prompt. Inside the model, there should be a back button. When the user clicks back button, store the information that he filled in the local storage, so that we don't lose any information when the user goes back and forth. That can be quite annoying. Then we probably want to have a progress bar. Implement a progress bar to show progress of the flow. Maybe we want to prevent user losing his information when he accidentally closes the model. If the user tries to close the model while filling the details, so show him the confirmation dialog. Do you want to discard this event, or do you want to continue editing? And show 2 call to action buttons, one continue editing and another discard event. So we have the model, full screen model, we have the progress bar, we have a back button, and we have the prevention from closing the dialog. That's my frame. Now we want to add the first step. So we want to ask what activity type the event has, because depending on that, we would guide the user through different branches of the flow. In the first step, ask user what activity type the event should have. Activity types are hiking, cycling, climbing, skiing, bouldering, social event. So here we have our first step. We've simply asked about activity type. I can ask AI to fill in the copy for me. Please complete the flow with appropriate copy. You can also provide your own copy when you already worked it out. Then you can also say the copy here. And that's it. With just that description, AI will scaffold the beginning of our flow. Let's try it out. We are back. It finished the framing and the first step. So we have types of events, bouldering, social events. We have a progress bar. We have a full screen model. We have 2 back buttons as usual. If we click the back button, we can discard or continue editing. So if we discard the event, then we are back. So now what we are going to do is to add conditions. So if we have a route-based events, then we want to first ask user to select a route and then continue creating the event. And if we have a social event, for example, that doesn't require a route, then we skip this step. For route, we will use this component that we have already built. I have this routes page. Here's how it looks. It's basically a list of routes with some filters. And I have already defined it as a route list component, routes list. And it's also a separate page. So as we can create components inside components, so inside the routes page, we have a routes list component. Let's go back and let's say exactly that. I start dictating my second prompt. If a user chooses hiking, cycling, or climbing event, the next step should be route selection. For the route selection step, show the routes list component. Let's say it's the same component that is used on the routes page. When user selects a route, proceed to the next step. So that would be the first condition. If a user chooses social event, bouldering, or skiing, what do we have there? Social, bouldering, or skiing. We also have running. I can add running here. Then simply proceed to the next step. So this is how we create conditions. We basically just say what should be followed. Let's give it a try. And we are done. Let's test it. So we choose an event and we click a type. And if it's hiking, then indeed we see the list of routes and then we can choose one. And there's no next step. And we see a mess with back buttons. For whatever reason, Lovable really like back buttons a lot. Let's remove some of them. So this one works, and let's see, that's that one. Second one works the same, so we can remove either of those. To remove the redundant back button, we will simply use the edit tool. This one, I hope it will work. Then we can maybe just remove it. Yeah, it worked. Okay, so we save. So you can keep refining the flow as it goes, editing visual elements or the logic. What is also wrong here is that there's no continue button. So let's prompt to add a continue button on this step of the flow. On the route selection step of the flow, there is no continue button. Please add a footer with continue call to action to proceed to the next step. So I finished fixing the bug. So let's try again. We choose hiking and we choose the event, and then we can continue to the next step. We don't have any redundant buttons. We can discard the event. Let's continue adding more steps. and explore a different strategy. Sometimes the plain text works, but if you already mapped out your flow somewhere else, then you might have a diagram that would look something like this. So this is the diagram that I created for this flow that I want to create here. We already started making it. So we create an event, we explain how a model looks and the activity types that we have. And then we have this condition which we already explained in a plain language. What can be tempting when you draw these kind of diagrams is to mix it with actual designs. So when I do my design work, I often create those kind of diagrams where I have the UI and I will explain how it works directly here. So I include logic and the design on the same view. And it might be tempting to feed it to Lovable, but that's not going to give you very good results because the tool will get confused. What is design? What is logic? And it would just fail to read it. It's too much information for it. So don't include those kind of diagrams. Always keep logic separate from design. If you want to attach logic and design in the same prompt, then just do separate files. And then in this situation, it's better not to include too many steps, too many screens in one prompt. So, okay, let's implement a couple of steps from this flow. So what I'm going to do, and because I have already completed this part, I will not feed it to Lovable. It already knows it, so I don't want to overload it with more information. Let's add those simple steps without any conditions as the next prompt. So we want to create a screenshot, or you can export it as a file. I'll just do the screenshot. Here we go. And what we will do here is we will ask for the event date and place and some event details such as name, number of participants, event description with a checkbox, and transportation options. Actually, we don't want to do transportation options. Let's keep them for the next prompt. Let's simply implement those 3 steps using our diagram. So we go back to Lovable, we attach our screenshot with 3 steps, and we simply say, please implement 3 more steps in the event creation flow. We can explain them in human language, explain what we mean exactly. I will try to stretch Lovable and see how, and illustrate actually how it understands diagrams with just screenshots like that. So let's give it a try. So when we click an event, we choose faking, we choose the root, and then indeed we have a date picker here. Let's pick this date and the time picker. We can improve this later as well. And event name, test name, and the number of participants, exactly how we asked. Copy the route name. Actually, that's quite smart. So we can copy the name of the route and description and a disclaimer. Actually, let's do this thing. I have actually created designs for this flow, and I'm not very satisfied with the way this step looks. Let's see, I have this mockup which I want to use instead and see if Lovable can reproduce it. When we do screenshots, we shouldn't expect 100% pixel perfect results. It would use the existing components and existing styles and might get a few things wrong. We can use Figma MCP for that to make it more pixel perfect, but in my situation, I don't really care that it's pixel perfect. I want just the general idea fit. I am exporting this file, and you see here I also have a cover photo, so I want to be able to upload the cover photo for the event. So let's add it to our prompt. It's the 5th step. On the 5th step of the flow, add an image uploader that would be a cover image for the event. And we also want to say that we want to use the design. Let's attach the design. Where is it? Description. So we export the description. Please follow design mockup attached. Yeah. So that's another way of approaching it. We can attach real mockups, real designs in a way of screenshots, in a way of code. If you know how to reuse code, then you can just copy paste code from your existing component, or if you exported it via Figma MCP or Build.io, you can also here provide the exact code for your component and let Lovable build the logic around it. See what Lovable baked for us this time. Create an event. Let's choose social event, select the date, time, name. Here we have the description, the disclaimer, just like we asked, and a cover photo. With the cover photo, here we go. So we didn't continue the flow. So just to summarize, if you want to use your designs, attach them one by one, explain the logic between the designs, like between your mockups in the prompt, or attach a diagram, but as a separate image. So to finish our flow, let's implement the last step of the flow is the transport. So here we have the condition with 3 options. So we ask what public option the event should have. Should it be public transport by car or no transport needed? And depending on what a user chooses, we show him different follow-up questions or just lead him to the final steps. So let's screenshot this part. Attach it to our prompt. Here's our design. Please implement the next step of the flow. In this step, ask transportation options. So what I'm doing, I'm explaining what is on my diagram, so to help Lovable to understand it better. The user should choose from 3 different transportation options: by public transport, by car, and no transport required. Depending on which option user chooses, show him the next step, or if no transport required, then show him the event preview. Event preview is the final step of the flow. After that, user can publish his event. All right, so we don't attach any designs for this one. Let's see what happens. We finish the final step of our flow. Let's test this. So let's pick social event, some dates as usual. Description. And here are our options. So we can go by public transport, by car, or no transport needed. Let's pick by car, for example. Finding behavior. Here we have the pickup location, exactly how we asked. Let's say Munich and half. And €10, and car description, let's say white BMW. And here's our preview. And here we go. So the event, social event, where we go by car, we can publish our event. Nothing will happen because we didn't specify what needs to happen. So we can continue refining this flow, and then eventually we'll be quite polished product. So just to summarize, you can use multiple strategies creating your flow. You can describe them in the plain language. You can use diagrams, and you can use designs. You can mix those approaches. So you can use diagram with designs, or explain design mockups, or with a regular human language. Keep your prompt small, refine as you go. Keep editing, add details. Now with those strategies, you can build complex conditional flows in your prototypes. Happy prompting!